Hello everyone, my name is Quill and welcome to another episode of Evolution of a Horde Base. This episode's a bit long, so I'm going to break down the order of events with some timestamps below. We have a lot to get to today, so let's go ahead and get started. The parking garage is our first stop. It's a large project and it won't be completed this week because it's more important that we focus our limited materials towards the Horde base. Next week though, concrete won't be as needed for the Horde base, so we'll be able to spend it down here instead. Digging this area out now is important because it'll give us a large amount of stone without us needing to go make a mine. This can also easily be done at night, so you're not sacrificing valuable daylight. We'll be using the shaft that was set up a couple episodes back. First off, the depth of the shaft really doesn't matter. I made it 3 blocks deep, but if you want to go to bedrock, go for it. It really just depends on how much you want to have to grind for materials later on. To give us some working room, I'm going to dig down 3 blocks and out by 1. Okay, so with that done, we can actually go ahead and extend the ladder down. I like to use the ladder as a center point for the room. So what we're actually going to do next is carve out one chunk of rock right here to make a pillar going straight down, and that's actually going to be the start of our back wall. We're going to start sizing the room out. I like to have at least 15 blocks of working space, so what that means is I'm going to extend each side of this pillar out by 8 blocks. The first 7 blocks are going to be our available working space once everything's done, and the 8th block is going to be where the walls are. So let me knock that out, and I'll show you what it looks like once it's done. So, because we're digging in stone, we can actually make the shaft fairly large without worrying about a cave-in. So I actually made the one that I dug out a 4x4 area, like you can see there. And I did this on both sides of the ladder. And then, like I said before, I wanted to make sure we had plenty of working space. So I measured it out by 8 blocks, so 1. And so the 8th block is where we're actually going to be placing our wall. And we can go ahead and reinforce this area right here to start making an outline. Alright, so I know it's a bit dark to see, but we have these we have the walls connected now, or at least the outline of where the wall will be. The next step is to go ahead and extend outwards in this direction so that we can start building out the main portion of the parking garage. Go ahead and carve this out again in another 4x4 area, and I'll show you what it looks like once it's done. Alright, so guys, as you can see, the room is starting to take shape. I've extended it out on both sides at another 4x4 area. And again, if we pick up these blocks, there is 15 blocks of working space. And if we place them here, that's also 15. Alright, so yeah, the 16th and 17th blocks are where you see the endpoints over there. The next step that we want to do is to add a bit more reinforcement in the roof and sides of this. So we're not going to fill in the entire roof or walls because, like I said before, we need that concrete for the Horde base. So instead, we're just going to make some outlines. Next week, we'll actually fill in the walls. That's where we'll also wire everything up, get some lights going, and this room will, for the most part, be complete then. We'll also have some little side-on things that we're going to be adding over time, such as a little armory, our own little personal room, and things like that. So again, this is going to be expanded. There's no way it's going to be done this week. This room will probably be done next week, and then the little side rooms do 1 per week afterwards. So let's go ahead and get on with some reinforcements. What I like to do is if you start in a corner, you just go out by 2 blocks, and on the 3rd block, we're just going to put a line straight across. This is also why I do them in the I carve out the 4x4 chunks, because as you can see, it all lines up. And we can actually go ahead and connect it here too on this very end. And it looks like I missed this corner back here, so I just want to go ahead and stack those up. And so from here, again, we're in a corner, so I want to go ahead and do 2 blocks out, and on the 3rd block, stack this up. That's weird. It looks like a rebar block, but on this side it is reinforced. Reinforced it, but I don't know what happened. Okay, anyways, so moving on. The other reason why I'm not reinforcing everything, like, you know, the ceiling, the walls, besides it just being resources, being valuable, the other major reason is that whenever we go to build side rooms on this, it'll be a lot easier for us to place and lay everything out when we only have a few blocks in our way. We could easily say, all right, this wall is going to be an entranceway and then frame around it, or this spot's going to be a door or window. And so if all of this was concrete, that would just mean we have to then drill and break out all those pieces of concrete. Whereas if we've only got a few bars going up, we might have 1 or 2 blocks to break down later to open it up. So that's kind of also the second reason why we're not reinforcing everything right now. Alright guys, so as you can see, the room is pretty much taking shape. So I'm not going to show me digging out the rest of it, simply because there's really no reason to. With these reinforcements in place, there is no real concern of collapse or anything like that. There really wasn't much of one beforehand, but this kind of just solidified that, hey, yeah, this is nice and secure. What I will be doing is for the rest of the week, as I prepare for the Horde and I make different materials, concrete and all that, deal with the knights, I'll actually come down here and I'll shave off a few rows at a time, and that'll give me, again, some more stone. I can turn that into concrete, mix, sand, whatever I need at the time, and eventually we will have the whole thing carved out. But I'm not going to rush to do that right now, and I'm going to go ahead and show you why. I do need to use no clip for it, so give me just a second. Actually, just detach the camera. Okay, so as you can see, this is where the base is. However, the parking garage is over here out on the side. I was initially going to build it directly underneath the Horde base, but for some reason there were some structural issues that as soon as I carved out the middle chunk, it would cause this entire top portion to collapse. I actually went so far on a test world as to go straight to bedrock, and it kept doing that, so I'm not sure what it was. I added support and everything all over, but I just couldn't get it resolved. However, the reason why we're not going to go ahead and carve everything out right now, whenever we go to put up the wall outside, we don't want any spot on the outside of the wall to be exposed or to have an easy entrance, because what will happen is if we go ahead and we dig everything out and we start, you know, making rooms and everything, and if any of those things line up outside of our wall and we haven't reinforced them with concrete or steel, the zombies will actually run up to the outside of the wall, and their pathing will let them start digging down. They will dig down, they'll break into here, and then run on over and straight up the ladder. However, what we're going to do, like I said, if we just go and take it in stride, dig this room out bit by bit. Hello, me. We're going to dig the room out bit by bit, and by that point, the wall will be up and constructed, and we'll be able to gauge just how much of it is outside of bounds and accommodate for that. Take your time on it. That's the best way to handle it. Rushing in this case would most definitely screw us over. All right. So with that, we can actually go ahead and head on upstairs and start with the wall. Hello, Mr. Bear. You're you're not supposed to be here. So let's try something out. Just put you right there. I think he's dead. When it comes to the wall, coverage is the primary concern for this week, and fortification is second. What that means is that we'll be doing the cheap version of the wall first, like you see here, so that we can surround the entire base, and then we'll focus on filling it out like this spot here. If you would like to see more on how to build these two spots, check out the last episode. The card should be on the screen. I'll briefly go over it while building the new walls, but it won't be as in-depth as last week. Instead, the detailed explanations will be for what's new and how to connect the sides. Alright, let's go ahead and get to it. Starting at the corner, dig 4 blocks out and make it 2 blocks deep. Fill this gap in with concrete and repeat this for all the corners. Ooh, that was nice. She isn't quite dead yet, but got her that time. That was, look, I'm sorry. I'm impressed with that, so thank you. We'll go ahead and connect these foundations by digging out the length between them for 2 rows. Of course, we'll reinforce it with concrete next and repeat this for both sides. Okay, so the new shape that we added should look just like that. So like I said, extend out by 4, make it 2 blocks deep, and then we're going to connect both sides together. And yeah, so the next goal is to do the outline of... What are you doing up there, William? You could have helped dig. So the next goal is to lay out the outline of the wall so we can space everything out accordingly, make changes if we want, and just kind of get everything set up. I'm not going to be able to do too much of that with 9 rebar blocks, so give me a second. Oh, I missed. Got her. Next shot. Alright, if we line ourselves up with the middle of the base, what we're going to do is place a 5 block section right there, and that's going to be where we have slopes similar to this spot right here. So again, I'm putting them down in wood so that I can just kind of measure everything out. Afterwards, we'll go through, pick them up, and replace them with rebar, and then upgrade that to concrete. So on the side of this, we can place 4 blocks down in this shape, and that's going to be where the pillars are. And then we can place another section of 5 and more pillars. We'll get to the corner in a minute. We're going to go ahead and repeat this same thing on this side. Once the wall is complete, having the sections spaced out like this will be able to give us 3 choke points that we can close off with doors in case they get breached. That we won't have to worry too much about having one portion of the wall break down later. I'm not really too worried about it, but just it'll be a precaution that we add in next week. So I'm pretty happy with the spacing here. I'm going to go ahead and reinforce this stuff and start building up the wall just like you see here. It'll be a bit of a montage, but for the most part you should be able to see everything. Again, I'm just building the same thing we built last week, and then we'll worry about the corners in a minute. Alright, so with our pillars in place, I'm going to go ahead and place a solid bar or solid row of concrete on the 3rd block up all the way across. Take the rebar block, hold R, select shape, go to rebar frame wedge, set it to advance and rotate it until it looks just like so. Flat piece on top, slope in the front, and place that all across the bottom. For the next part, we're going to take our wet concrete blocks, hold R, select shape, and go to the wet concrete pole, set it to advanced, and rotate until it lines up just like so on the 2nd block. And we're going to place this bar all the way across. The reason why we went with the slope and the bar is that in case we got overwhelmed or we wanted to block off this section right here with hatches, we could, and we could still aim and shoot the feet of the zombies if the hatches are closed. But also because having that bar there, we're able to attack the horde, and for the most part they can't reach us. That bar gives it just a little bit extra length, gives us a little bit extra distance between us and the zombies, so it's usually makes it pretty safe to stand there and just whack away at them. So we're going to take the same bar and do a similar thing up top, except we're going to set it to where the bar is at the top of the block instead of at the bottom, and that way we can walk up to it and still shoot down here without falling over. The outline of the wall is coming together. We should have this portion right here that we need to seal up, but I'm going to do that tomorrow where there's more daylight. It'll be easier to see rather than trying to explain it at night. What I am going to go ahead and do though is to repeat this same design over on that side over there, and once that's finished, should be daytime, we can stock up on concrete and everything, knock out these corners, or at least show you, I'll show you how to knock out a corner or two. Let's see if I can pick her off from here. Ooh, I hit her. Oh, missed. Nope, missed. Missed? Jeez. I'm not doing very well today. There we go. I used so many arrows just to take her out. For the corner, we're going to start by placing rebar blocks just like this. So they take up the inside of the concrete. And then after that, we're going to gauge ourselves on this pillar right here and the one right here. And what we'll do is we'll go 1, 2, and on the third block, that's where we're going to place our next column. Alright, so go ahead and repeat that, make it 2 blocks tall. Take a rebar block, and at the very corner of what we just built, or the middle of what we just built, we'll go ahead and place 2 more to make them 2 blocks tall, and then connect each of these walls to it, just like that. So this is what it should look like, and we can go ahead and place another block here on the side and here. If we angle ourselves slightly over the edge, we can place a block on the side right there. And if we do that, we can leave that gap open, which is where we're going to be placing another electric fence and wire up the entire side. So we're going to repeat that on that side and then fill up the top over there. Once the corner is up just like that, what I'm going to do is to go ahead and dig 1 block in the corner, and we'll just go ahead and reinforce this all the way up. Back on the top, we can pull up our wet concrete bars again, and in case you didn't know, so we have this rotation right here that we want to use. Rather than having to go here and select advance and rotate through a bunch of them to get to it, if we aim ourselves at the block we want, hold R, select copy rotation, and it will place it it'll put it in the exact same position as there. And so we don't have to sit through and cycle through a bunch of things. And so I can repeat it for both sides. And with that piece, we're going to hold R and go to simple. And we can place the concrete bars just like this. So this part isn't so much effective, like extra reinforcement. I mean, it is, but I'm just trying to make the corners look appealing and to also put enough stuff so that they dissuade the zombies from going there. For instance, one thing that we will be doing later on, because having pieces like this and everything being tier 2 concrete, it means that the zombies are just going to really go wild on everything. Oh, got a screamer. Ooh, got her. Oh, no, not dead yet. Now she's dead. I get a lot of screamers, especially having 6 forges going, I think 8 torches and 20 candles. So I use them for, leveling, because you can just get up there, scream, and just bring up a whole horde of zombies pretty quickly. And sometimes they'll scream and bring more screamers. I don't think that's been changed. Anyways, so we're going to copy that rotation, and we're just going to place the bars just right here. Okay guys, so since the wall is complete, we have this screamer right here. You can see she is attacking the side of it. That's okay. I fully anticipate that continuing to happen just because all of this is tier 2 concrete. That means that the zombies kind of see it as, hey, it's all the same, just attack whatever you can. We'll start to reinforce these pillars up to steel over time. And for this corner, we'll do that as well. However, for these sections right here, we're going to leave those tier 2 concrete. The reason for that is that if everything else is steel, and that's tier 2 concrete, the zombies are going to focus on that. They should. I'm not going to say they will. They should focus on these sections instead. Once everything's finished and we have these sections set up that we can eventually close off, it won't be as big of a deal, because if they break through this portion right here, we just shut a few doors and we move on. The next goal here is to go ahead and make all of these fancy little sides right here, the little corners with the triangles and all that. Just saying, if this was yellow, that would kind of look like a duck. I mean, not the black, but kind of just looks like a square duck. With our new lovely base assets finished and in place, the next goal is to build up some more hatches. I'm not necessarily worried about doing vault hatches. If possible, that's great. If not, using tier 3 iron hatches will be just fine as well. What I'll be focusing on for the next few in-game, like the next in-game day, is to get some more electric fences built, and so we can wire those up, some electrical relays, continue this electrical power grid, and also I want to show an alternative to that, but I need some electrical relays before I can do that. One commenter did point out that, hey, having these up there, the birds will sometimes attack them. I haven't had that happen personally. However, if that's a concern, I do have a solution for that, which also still hides all of the cables. So we'll actually take this spot for example. So currently we have electricity running down from up there into here. It's completely hidden that way. We don't have to worry about seeing annoying cables. However, if we didn't want them up above, we could take and just dig this area out. Okay, and with those, I've got some dirt that I crafted. You can make dirt just from having some clay soil. Doesn't take too much. What we'll do is we'll place the relay right there underneath, and we could take and wire it up this way. Exactly how we just did the electrical relay for this part right here underneath the base, I went ahead and repeated that for each of these 4 columns directly across from the drawbridges, or on the side of the drawbridge. And then the next thing we're going to do is go ahead and do some preparation for our turrets. To pick one of these areas, that's the 5-block opening, and we're going to dig down directly in the middle by 3 blocks. So we've got these, we're going to dig down 1 more block. Once that spot's dug out, I like to go ahead and reinforce the wall with rebar and concrete. And then you can actually take dirt and fill this spot in if you want. I just find it easier to dig that out and place that block there rather than trying to squeeze and angle it to get it in there. Anyways, in the middle, we're going to place an electrical relay. And then on the sides, we're going to place 2 more rebar frame blocks. So let me go ahead and throw up a shotgun turret trap, and we'll get to wiring. And I'm going to make sure this is done on all the sides of the base. So let's see, that one's on the inside, so we'll put that one right there. Okay, so we have shotgun traps, or we have shotgun turrets. So now it comes time to wire it up. With everything being buried, we do need to plan it in advance. So let's go inside of the let's go inside of the Horde base, and I'll show you what I've changed here. If we go into the parking lot or parking garage, future area of the parking garage, I've gone ahead and placed a generator bank and a battery bank, and this is just where I'm going to be storing it for now. It's, again, temporary, so I just need it to be in a place where it's not going to annoy me. So we've got that there, and in the corner of this room, I did say before that I was going to turn this into an electrical room, so please ignore the mess with the forges, workstations, all that. All of that stuff will be moved into the home base once that's finished, but for now it's in our way. Anyways, these corner blocks, they line up with these support pillars here, and we're actually going to use those to hide our next set of electrical relays. So if we take and place them right on the bottom, like that, we can then go downstairs, and we're going to grab the wire, run up, pick one of these things. It doesn't really matter which one, so I'm just going with that one. And I'm going to go ahead and wire that all the way around. Each of these relays is live, and what we can do is go ahead and grab from here, go up. So as long as we walk, we can look at the wire and see if we are too far away. Right now it's black, so it's good, and once it turns red, we can no longer connect anything. And I'll show you why that's important in just a moment. But if we come down here into the hole we dug, we can go ahead and wire that guy right there. and then grab it again and drop right over here to the other electrical relay we put in for the turret. Grab that and wire it up. I'm going to go ahead and repeat that same process for each of the turrets I set up. Alright, now that all of those are wired up, I'm going to go ahead and fill these spots in with dirt just because I'm not going to need to access them right now. If we come all the way up to the roof, I'm actually going to go ahead and place some electrical relays right here. And this is just in the direct corner adjacent from where the drawbridge closes. So just like right there. And then we're going to place 4 more on the inside. Oh, looks like I had already placed those. I was kind of playing around with the design earlier. So I placed the relays right there in the corner. And we can actually go ahead and tie everything up now. We will need to kind of trick this, so let me pull up some blocks and show you what I mean. Alright, so earlier I mentioned that the as long as the cable is black, we can still connect it. Once it turns red, we are too far away from the relay to still connect. So if we come up top and walk over here, even above, standing right on the relay, we're still in the red, so it won't let us connect. But the trick is that the distance between the cable and the electrical relay, it just depends on how far away your character is. So for like right up top, I can't connect it, but if I fall right here to where I put these blocks, there it is. And so we can just repeat that for each of the corners. Okay, and we can go up top. So if we grab this relay, we can drop back down and connect these each to the corners. So if you haven't played around with power, one thing to keep in mind is the way the current flows. You can trace it with the direction that the little yellow beads are going. If they're conflicting, your stuff won't work, so you need to go from your generator to your battery bank to your switches, relays, and so on, until you eventually wind up at whatever you want to power on. I do anticipate us running into an issue on the Horde night whenever we try to crank up the power, so I'm going to try to fix that tomorrow. The problem is we don't have enough juice to power everything. If I turn the generator on right now, it's working at max capacity. I believe I can also turn this on, but it gets fried. So yeah, the generator's running at max capacity, so nothing else above will be. The reason for that is that each of the electrical fence posts is 5 watts, and we've got 6 of them on each side, plus 4 more on the inside of the base right now. We have turrets, which are 15 watts each. Then we have electrical relays, which each of those is another 1. You could easily get away with using less electrical relays, but I use more just because I like the way it looks. So I'm willing to pay that price. Anyways, what we will do to compensate for that until we get enough power is we're going to disable the electrical fence on the inside, since it's really not going to do much until the rest of the wall is complete. And then we're going to go ahead and disable the shotgun turrets, because I don't foresee them being needed as much this week. A commenter mentioned that demolishers don't show up until your game stage 150. I'm currently sitting at game stage 132. I don't think I'm going to have that big of a boost in one day, and wrong button. And if they are right, then we really don't have to worry too much, except for, just the regular zombies showing up. If they do, we'll be able to handle them just like we have been most nights, with melee on these openings. We have our bow, we have a pistol, and if they do decide to just attack the corner of the base, because let's be honest, zombies can be assholes sometimes. Sorry, William, wherever you are. If they decide to continuously attack the side of the base, we are able to pick them off from here, and I think that issue will be resolved once we start to upgrade to steel. So since I was able to buy some steel off of the traders and then make a little bit using the Crucible recipe I just unlocked by getting Advanced Engineering to rank 5, I went ahead and started to reinforce these corners. I started by doing the pillar on the outside and then the one on the inside first. And I repeated that for all 4 sides. And then the next thing that I'm going to start doing is just reinforcing the bottom 2 areas. So right there. Alright, and so as I get steel, it's currently smelting right now. As I get it, I'll just go through and reinforce all the way around. Again, I don't think that it'll be finished around the base before Horde Night, but if I can at least get a side or 2 done, we'll be able to tell whenever the zombies are running on that side if they're going to continuously attack these pillars or not. Another section that would be good to do is this area right here. Just because it's solid, we only have a few options to shoot from, which is up there. So if we reinforce this to steel, it should leave these openings as the primary source at the as the primary location that zombies tend to target. We'll see what happens. It's almost time for the Horde Night, so yeah, we'll get to it. Oh, I do realize that I've neglected to mention this, but since we sealed up the wall, the problem that we have is we no longer have an entrance, kind of just like whenever we started that base. So what I'm doing temporarily is I just placed a ladder right there. And because that block, even though it's only a half block, it still occupies that space, so the ladder sticks to it. And we can just run up and jump over. However, since it is still raised, just like these other ones, zombies are not going to be able to do that jump. At least they haven't so far. And I mean, if you've seen this video, you know I've gotten plenty of screamers. So I've got ladders like that set up. I'm going to make sure there's at least 1 or 2. I'm going to make sure there's at least 1 or 2 on each side. I accidentally clicked, but there we go. Besides that, let's go ahead and talk about a few more things for the Horde and preparations of it. So when it comes to weaponry, we have turrets that are not actually rigged up right now because we don't have enough engines. I have some junk turrets that I picked up, rank 3 and a rank 1, so they're nothing special. Because I'll be using the junk turret for the Horde, I want to make sure that I've already got some places set up for it to be deployed at. So around each of the areas, I'm just going to go ahead and place a wood block. I'm not really too worried about it being attacked and broken, but even if it did, I'll show you right now. Even if somehow a zombie was able to break it, the turret just falls. It won't, destroy it or anything. So we don't need to have a reinforced block or anything like that. A wood block will be fine. Okay, we're here, and it is time for the Horde. Let's just see which direction they're coming from. Over here. We're going to try to save as much ammo as we can until later on in the Horde. And yeah, as you can see, the electric fence is working. They're still attacking these areas, or the side over there, but that's okay. We can repair it. Once that's all up to steel, we're not going to have an issue. Looks like we got some over here, so I'm going to go ahead and set my turret right here. And I can still focus over here on this area. Yeah, we definitely need to get that stuff up to steel, but for now we're going to be alright. Oh, we had one get over, but that's okay. So this area gives us more room to fight in, but we still have the other base as our fallback point. It is fully expected that at some point this wall will get breached. That's okay though. The point of it all is to have options. So the good news is, even if they do break down portions of that pillar up there, they should not be able to get to the electric trap that's on the inside. So we can still repair the wall from right here. We're going to be just fine. But for some reason, they really like this spot right here. And I just took out my own turret. repair that. Place that, and we're gonna repair this. And go ahead and upgrade that to rank 5. That way we can load in some extra rounds. Have to reload it less. Does a little bit more damage, I think. And besides that, we will be able to have 2 of them running, so that one up top will still work. The other thing to note is that these walls will be much more effective once we actually have the turrets running. Right now we don't have that option, so we really can't do too much about that. Doesn't look like they're attacking any other spot right now, so that's good, because it means we can just filter them all right here, and we don't really have to worry too much. So I will have to say, I think the bar up top is probably working out really well, because we've only had one zombie get over. I think he was just pushed. Let's go ahead and repair you. Oh, there's the vultures. The rest of the wall's looking just fine, and even the spots that they're attacking, it's not really that big of a problem. Now, again, this is with horde size of 24 zombies per person, and block damage is at 100%, and as you can see, it's still easily repairable. They're all grouping up in one spot, and once we've upgraded everything else to steel around here, I think we'll be able to really filter them into where we want. Oh, got one in. Uh-oh. Where'd you guys come from? Okay, so apparently the rest of my plan doesn't work, but yeah, just find you a hole like this and filter them in. So guys, they really want to make it in. I'm just going to let them have it, let them break down that one spot. That's okay, because it's not that much to repair. And they should start filtering into here, which is of course still our fallback place. Let's go ahead and grab some blocks. Place those around just so we got a spot to put our turrets. Give me a second, guys. I will help you out in just a moment. Oh, hey. If we wanted to come up here instead and shoot the zombies, that is still an option. Again, the wall's not 100% done, so it's kind of, I anticipated having a breakdown at some point, but that's okay. It's made, the way that we've made it is where if it does break down, it's going to be alright. We have this fallback point, and once we have our sections put in place just like that and have it reinforced, I don't think that will be an issue anymore. One thing to also remember is that this was with hordes of 24 zombies per person. So if you're running with 8, I don't think you'll have an issue with it at all. Nothing that won't be manageable. So yeah, I'm definitely a fan of having a Sexual Tyrannosaurus and Flurry of Blows maxed out. I can pretty much spend all of this Horde Night, if I wanted. I could spend most of it just standing right here and power attacking for the most part. No really, between those two, I'm just constantly getting stamina back. So if you haven't invested in those, I would definitely, I would suggest trying it. Alright, Horde Night is over, so let's clean up these last few guys. Okay, well, the Horde is over, so let's take and see how we did. Okay, so this is where they broke in. That's, honestly, that's not too bad. We still got all the rest of this area. So, I mean, I'll take it. That being said, after they broke in, They only got this one little spot of damage, so not bad. Once they broke in, we were able to fight them off from in here. We had no real issue doing that. Once multiple spider monkeys came in, we did have this spot start breaking down a lot, but it was easily repairable during the middle of the night. Looks like they had one that got up there. However, that's okay. We have some changes that will be upcoming that should help fix all of that. Besides that, the real champions of this Horde night were definitely the junk turrets. They worked out fantastically. I've not played around with them before. I've never maxed out the thing to where you can have two of them down. I usually thought that they were kind of pointless, but so far they have been great. Well, with that, I'm not gonna say that this was a failure. I'm not gonna say it was a disappointment. It really wasn't, not to me. I I was upfront that the wall would not be finished. For something that is not done, is not complete, and has more stuff to happen to prevent this, it worked better than I anticipated. Besides that, I did need to point something out. This was my second go at the Horde. The first go lasted a total of like 3 minutes, and that's because zombies were spawning inside the base. I realized I did not cover this earlier, so I need to show you now. If we go underneath the map, or the world, hello generator, land claim blocks. Make sure you're using a land claim block, especially for something this large. This build, because of the size of it, the Horde was actually able to spawn inside of the base on my first run. However, I placed this land claim block dead in the middle, so if we got right here and went straight up, we have it's going to cover everything. Make sure that you put a land claim block down. It does have its usefulness even in single player. The goals for next week: all of this dirt, it's gonna be gone. We're gonna remove it. We're gonna replace it all with concrete. The walls, we're gonna go ahead and get this top portion done all the way around. If not all the way around, then at least on two of the sides. So thank you all very, very much for tuning in and watching this. I do appreciate it. If there's anything you'd like to see, any questions you have, please leave me a comment below. I tried to take a look at all of them. So thank you all again, and I hope you have a great week.